There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
I'm alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Live from Austin, Texas, we welcome race fans, one and all, here to the Circuit of the Americas for the Advanced Auto Parts 115. And yet, the next round of the ISCA Tucson Sound Art Cup Series here in the second season of 2022. My name is Nolan Rempel. I've got Alfonso Nixon beside me in the broadcast booth, and together we're going to bring you all the coverage from start to finish with Rob Melding providing all of the camera shots that you see on your screens here tonight. So we get set to go racing around this track over in Austin, Texas here, Al. First resurrected from the ground over in 2012, and I tell you what, it has been providing thrilling racing to the Formula One World Championship ever since. But NASCAR only started coming here just 1 year ago. With all of that in mind, what do you think we could have in store for us here today?
I think it's going to be a very slow, patient evening of cat and mouse. Just not a very car-friendly track, I guess you'd say, for these NASCARs. So we're just going to have to see how we get around this thing, Nolan. I'm going to just sit back and enjoy it right beside you. So what are you anticipating that we can see here?
I think this is going to be a bit more of a processional race that we're used to seeing on the oval side of things, right? Especially with these next-gen cars. They are a handful on the road courses. I can tell you right now, it is not going to be a very pleasant race for a lot of those drivers out there tonight. They're all going to be having to battle the track a lot more than they're having to battle each other. It's, of course, one of the longest tracks on the calendar we're going to this year. I believe second only to Road America over in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. So with all of that said in mind, even Elkhart Lake, right, Road America, it is, of course, a track that is much more suited for stock cars. Long straights, hard braking zone. Not the case here today. The third sector is very tight and squiggly. The first sector, of course, long, flowing emphasis from start to finish. That long back straightaway between turns 11 and 12, that is really where we're going to see a majority of the overtakes here tonight if we don't see a massive pileup in the opening corner.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch out for that turn one there, especially on the start of this thing. It's going to be about how patient these guys are. Because we know once we get to road courses, let me get my tongue out of my mouth, but once we get to road courses, it's a lot more about racing the course than it is necessarily the drivers that are with you. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. 45 seconds left on qualifying here tonight, and none of the other drivers in this field are going to be able to go on out there and set time. So 35 seconds are left on the clock. Only 14 drivers in the field tonight, and the bottom four all opting not to take times. Those include Hone, Levine, Kozlowski, and Paul Olson. You have to wonder, maybe they are not too confident in their abilities here tonight. They want to just maybe take it nice and easy and see if they can let the track come to them later on.
Yeah, because Donald, sometimes it's about pit position, but on a road course like this, I think the cautions are going to actually flow when we get to our stages, which are going to be, what are our stages looking like tonight? Well, we'll get to that momentarily, but let's go ahead and take a break for that national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare
Start your engine! And welcome back to the Advanced Auto Parts 115 from the Circuit of the Americas over in Austin, Texas. You see the field lined up and ready to go racing. Started on the back straightaway, not going through the full pace lap here tonight. So as the field gets set to take off for what should be an exciting race here tonight, let's run through your starting grid. Why not? Eric Kling currently sets the pole time with a 2-minute 14.319. He's got Chris Severa almost 6/10 behind him on the front row. From there, it's over a second back to Gary Adamson down in third place, and about another half a second to Brooks Durden down in fourth. Ryan Strunk is already 4 seconds off the pole time in fifth, with Austin Derbyshire in sixth. Rob Patgill is in seventh place with Kenny Powell in eighth. The last cars to set laps are going to be that of Greg Wyszynski and Kenny Thompson here tonight, Al.
Yeah, that's right. And that's going to put Justin Levine in 11th with Al Koslowski. He's going to be sitting there in 12th, or Jay Hone, rather, sitting there in 12th. And then Paul Olson is going to be in 14th, and that's going to round out our field with Jay Hone being shown in the 15th position.
So 14 cars getting set to go racing for us then here tonight, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are going to be wanting to just take it their time, kind of let the race come to them. And it really shows in the qualifying times, right? A 7-second spread from first down to 10th place. Now, of course, you got some wild cards deeper in the field, most notably Justin Levine, one of the quicker drivers in this series. So I have to wonder if we could be seeing Justin Levine providing a good portion of the action we'll be seeing over in the first stage of the night, which will be of 9 laps, with stage 2 ending at lap 17.
Yeah, so as these drivers are going to be set to be getting ready to take off here shortly, Nolan, I just, I think the biggest thing about this is just going to be patience. I mean, you're not going anywhere. This is a very long track. It's going to require a tremendous amount of focus from the drivers, because every turn has to be perfect on this thing, and you just hold your mouth the wrong way for 2 seconds, and you'll find yourself in a world of hurt. So I think this is just going to be a nice, easy drive here in Texas tonight or this afternoon, and guys should just be trying to stay out of trouble, keep the cars clean, and pass when they can.
Take a look at some of the weather facts going into today's race. 78 degrees Fahrenheit in the air, but it is a pretty warm 107 out on the racetrack at the moment, with winds even picking up a little bit, up to 6 miles an hour now, blowing just off to the west. So it is a pretty warm day out there at the moment over in Texas for the Circuit of the Americas. So you have to wonder if that could potentially add a bit of a challenge into how these cars drive. We've talked about this before, right, Al? They are very, very temperature sensitive, and you have to consider the fact that it's going to be a very hot track, on a track not meant for these next-gen cars. You have to imagine that is going to really cause some problems for some of those drivers that might not be expecting it.
Yeah, especially as you look, we've gone back to that lower downforce, but we're still with that high horsepower package. So these things prove to be anything other than sporty, especially through the turn. So you're absolutely right. It's going to be a game of throttle management and brake control. You got to be easy. Look, we're already wrecking under the caution.
So what on earth is going on here?
I think somebody missed that turn back there. It was a left turn, though. We should have caught that one.
Gary Adamson is having some technical difficulties. His wheel jammed hard to the left. And as long as that, his car shifted into neutral and went full throttle as well. So Adamson having major, major technical problems at the moment. So we'll see how that's going to impact him. But the field coming around through the final couple of corners now. It'll be Eric Kling to lead us to that green flag when they come around through the final corner at turn number 20. We're happy that all of you are joining with us on yet another beautiful Saturday night for more ISCA racing action. So as Eric Kling comes around through the final corner now, we get set to go racing here in Austin, Texas. The Advanced Auto Parts 115 at the Circuit of the Americas. is now green as Kling rockets away in the mad dash up and towards turn number 1. You can see the likes of Josephine trying to follow suit. 3, almost 4 wide, deeper in the field as they go through turn 1 for the first time today. A couple of cars go swinging wide, among them Kenny Powell muscling Kenny Thompson off the racetrack. But other than that, we are clean through turn 1 here, Al.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That was going to be one of the biggest challenges of the night. It was just seeing how well these guys were going to be able to get through that turn 1. So we've made that through all right. Everybody seemed to have collected themselves up. Nothing major going on. So now we're just going to try to settle into what we would consider a race rhythm, Nova.
So the field's starting to blaze over the top of the S. We are set to dive it down into turn number 11 for the first time today. And Jay Hone, want to point out a big upcoming story here with the number 12 car. He has bowed out from the race. He is not going to be making a start here tonight. And a big battle going on between Austin Derbyshire and Justin Levine. Talk about a crossover. Derbyshire went way deep into 11. Levine crossed him over and was able to take the 5th position right back. Derbyshire trying to see if he can't catch up to him, maybe go at him again up into turn number 12, and looks like this time he will not be able to do so. Up in front, saw Ryan Strunk lose out a spot to Brooks Dirty that time by as he got loose out of the exit of turn 12.
Yeah, you got to really, like I said, it's only that throttle control. And guys, you're not really necessarily trying to fight for position now. You're just really trying to kind of stay in line and pass when necessary. A little bit too aggressive there on that 17 car. But, hey, it's all good. We're still going to be rolling along.
And you saw the likes of Brooks Dirting having a bit of a slide. He got punted around by Ryan Strunk. I believe that was in turn 16, as well as that Gary Adamson. We talked about him having his major technical problems where his wheel locked up and he went deep. That just happened to him again under race conditions through turn 12. So he is not going to have himself a solid run either. But now Brooks Dirting trying to close up on Austin Derbyshire to get back past Brooks Dirting. Up front, it will be Eric Coyne to now lead the opening lap. Already 2 seconds clear. It's a fierce battle, though, for spots still around the top 5.
Yeah, and Kling and Severa definitely just going to be trying to get as far away from those guys back there in the pack as they can. And it is interesting that some of these guys might feel like their time's running a little bit low, as I don't know what's quite going on with the 91 car of Austin Derbyshire. Looks like he just lost a little bit of control there, got discombobulated in that last turn.
A little bit kind of flustered, I'd imagine, with everything that's been going on here so far. You can see Kenny Powell as well in the current ongoing battle, trying to keep Derbyshire at bay. I tell you what, Derbyshire not having a very good run so far, and I think for Derbyshire, it was just a problem, just spinning up the wheels all a bit too much, and it was an easy mistake to make as Kenny Powell continues to try to fend him off in the overall fight for that will be about the 8th position now out there on the racetrack. He's also trying to close up to the DuPont number 5 car of Greg Wachinski just up the road. Wachinski running a very unique car now in the field. Definitely a bit of a different type of tone than the very bright yellow number 5 car we're used to seeing. And so is Kenny Powell. Powell's running a very neon car as well out there in the field, as opposed to his typical blue G&G colors out there in the field so far. Battle's also on for 3rd place between Levine and Strunk.
Yeah, it looks like Powell and Wachinski just kind of swap painters there maybe a little bit, because definitely I like the paint scheme for Wachinski, and going to have to see about that yellow what Powell does. I don't know about that one.
You saw Levine go for the overtake, or I think he tried to go for the overtake down into turn number 12. Ended up not being too successful. Strunk was able to get him back. That allows for Brooks Dirting, in the front line number 99 car to close in just a little bit more. So Brooks Dirting to apply some pressure.
Yeah, but Justin, he's got his hands full on that 33. I've been watching him for the last couple of laps, and it's giving him everything he can to keep that thing kind of straight and pointed in the right direction. So I'm not sure if this is brake bias or what, but it's just interesting to to see what's going on with the handling. Just gives you an example at home just how much of a handful these cars are to actually drive and manage.
Levine has started the catch back up to Ryan Strunk, and I can tell you right now, Levine is the fastest of those two drivers. He wants to find a way through. Levine's current fastest time on the day has been a 2-minute 18.040. That was the last lap by, and my friend, that was actually right about the same time that Ryan Strunk ran, so it looks like they actually might be pretty evenly matched here. But that being said, with how much Levine is starting to really badger the back of the number 77 car, I think it's obvious. Whoa, hopping up and over the sausage curbs there. I think it's been obvious that Levine is the fastest of those two drivers, but hitting those sausage curbs is not going to do him any favors, and that is really one that we have not talked about too much today so far. Those sausage curbs are just killer for cars like these, especially in the Essence.
Yeah, with that lower dam in the diffuser on the rear, yeah. Thank goodness the rest of the car is relatively solid though. With these next-gen cars, not a whole lot of stuff under there exposed to get knocked around a little bit, but yeah, still you're right. Those sausage curbs can definitely wreak havoc on that lower splitter.
And there goes Levine trying to take it away up into turn 13. Strunk goes deep, baby. Oh, yes, he does. Levine crosses him over. That's a brilliant move for the number 33 car. But now it's once again advantage Ryan Strunk into turn 15. Levine going to enter, take a very wide arc. Once again, trying to cross him over. Look at the momentum that the 33 car has. Going to take it high all the way through the discount. Turkey turn 8 straight out of the Dollarama. And just Levine, I think, might be able to hold the momentum outside line if he can. This will be a pass made, and this is going to put him up in a third place. And I think he's just made that work through 19.
Yeah, now it's going to be interesting to see what Strunk does. Is he going to sit back, or is he going to drive in to fight for that position? I don't think he wants to relinquish. So this right here is actually turning up to beat one of the greatest battles that we got on the racetrack right now. As they're now coming down that front stretch, we're going to see if Strunk is actually going to try to make a move on the inside of Levine maybe on this turn.
Oh, he thought about it, and he tried to poke the nose out, but it was too little too late. Oh, and now fishtailing as he gets onto the throttle. That's definitely not going to help matters either. So unfortunate news there for Strunk. Behind them, Wachinski just got around Robert Pattengale in the battle for 6th place, took the high side through turn 2, and just breezed right through Wachinski. Pattengale. It's not want to battle that one out all that much. But I tell you what a great fight we're having so far here tonight in the opening laps of the Advanced Auto Parts 115 at the Circuit of the Americas. I mean, you have to admit, despite only having about 14 cars in the field, but you've only got about 6 of them close at the moment, and the fighting between them has just been amazing. I mean, it's side by side every lap at some points.
Yeah, absolutely. That is an awesome thing for all of us, because I kind of thought we wouldn't see as much exciting racing as we are seeing, but these guys are definitely putting on a show for us as we're halfway through stage 1, though.
Gonna be halfway through stage 1 this next time by Brooks Dirting. Looks for the inside, deeper on the brakes, thinking about it to get up and past the grindstone stump grinding number 77 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, but couldn't get there. The Abruzzi Mustang will have to take it to him another day. So Dirting's going to have his hands full if he wants to try to get past Ryan Strunk, who is definitely not going to be willing to let that position go without a fight. Oh, but he's way overshot the corner that time. That's not going to help Brooks Dirting out in the slightest as he tries to run down Strunk.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is just a couple laps ago, we were seeing a battle for the ages between Strunk and Levine, and now, just like that, Strunk is fighting for his life trying to maintain that 4th position as he's getting pressured from the rear by that number 33 car. Sorry, 39 car.
Tank slapping it once again on the exit. Brooks Dirting wanting to put on a bit of a Formula Drift show. Unfortunately, that is not the type of show that these cars were made for. And all the while, you've still got Strunk just up the road with now just 5 laps left to go in stage number 2. Stage number 1, excuse me. I'm a bit frazzled all of a sudden today, but Ryan Strunk definitely having a good run to try to see if he can't close on in to Just Levine and try to see if we can't maybe battle it out with that number 33 car. Doing a good job so far. Dirting misses the apex by a country mile and then some. Right behind them, but doing a good job to still try to keep it in tight, see if maybe the battle for third and fourth picks up a bit more. They take themselves out. Levine's missed the apex. That gives opportunity to Strunk, but Strunk can't capitalize through the kink of 10 and down 4-11. And I think that grindstone stump grinding will have a shot here. Lunges up into the hairpin, locks it up as well. Levine tried to go for the crossover again, Al, but this time he couldn't get the nose in there. The 77 car really parked it on the apex.
Yeah, he drove right into that turn and literally, you said it best, he parked it right there. So Levine almost like having to change his whole line on that turn. We're going to see if he sets it up again for this next, because he is definitely going to try to set up a crossover. These two are just dancing. They're playing the ultimate game of cat and mouse as Levine kind of locks it up a little bit because he's just trying to run for his life, Nolan. I don't think he wants to lose that position yet either.
All the while, you've got Dirting thinking about going for a look as well. Ryan Strunk still wants to try to have a go. It's not an easy track to race at, even in the best of cars made for this place, which would be, of course, open-wheel racing machines such as Formula One or, of course, IndyCar, which recently dabbled in a trip over to Circuit of the Americas a couple of years ago. But Strunk is not letting him have his way here. I mean, he is really showing that these cars can absolutely race here at Circuit of the Americas. Levine goes wide to the final corner, but Dirting and Strunk will follow him right in, trying to keep up speed.
Yeah, and here we go, coming down that front stretch again, putting yet another lap into the books as Strunk is going to size up Levine one more time. You know, I'm wondering, Nolan, how it can't be healthy for Levine to burn that left front up like that on those turns. I've been watching, and he's kind of dragging that thing down quite a bit. I don't know. It won't be an issue here. It probably won't be an issue at all. I find that fascinating, I guess.
You saw Dirting make his way up and past Strunk, and I have a feeling that Ryan Strunk might have burned his stuff up here a little bit early. Got loose right in the middle of the corner, and I have to wonder if there's maybe a little bit of contact between the two of them. It looked like it was such a sudden twitch, but Strunk did a good job of gathering it up, and now going to try to fight back, going for fourth place once again. Looks for the inside of the kink, gets cut off though, and the racer and bruising number 31 Mustang not wanting to give Strunk any room to work with. So it will be a Chevy versus Mustang drag race once again down the back stretch. And I tell you what, Strunk not going to be having a very fun time here trying to go at him, but he is going to give it everything. Make sure he can come out on top with the most stage points possible.
Yeah, absolutely. He did not want to relinquish that position. It was just a momentary bobble that actually allowed Dirting the ability to actually drive down the inside of him. But he is going to close that gap, and so we are going to see a very tight battle here as we're getting ready to go into lap 7 for what is appearing to be that 3rd, 4th, and 5th place positions.
And this middle section of the racetrack is really just the Achilles heel for a lot of drivers that race this car. It is one of the slowest sections of racetrack on any circuit that we visit on the ISCA calendar, and even on the Cup Series calendar as well. We're talking drivers that are not even able to get above 100 miles an hour from when they start braking for the hairpin all the way up until the second to last corner. That is when they're finally hitting over 100 again. That's about 8 corners straight where they're at 90 or below, and they still find a way to make racing entertaining here to watch these cars go around. It's unreal. And the fact that these drivers are dealing with it so well is astounding, because obviously if there's one that these NASCAR cars are known for in general, it's wheel spin on acceleration, especially though at low speeds. And the fact that we haven't seen any real self-spins in that section of the racetrack at all today really is a testament to how good of drivers these guys are.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are not, you know, it's one thing to go fast and turn left, but road racing adds a whole nother dimension. Not only to mention that we have a new car with a new package, so it is a true testament to just how proficient these drivers are in their craft.
So we're going to continue to observe here as Dirting gets a bit up and crossed up. The exit of turn 8 through 9, down for 10. Strunk looks low, goes for it. Oh, that's very deep, though. Locks it up just holds it. And good thing that Dirty saw coming, that could have been a really big spin.
I think that is becoming more and more of his signature move, actually just driving it deep in there and just kind of sitting and letting it wait. As it looks like we're going to be coming around here to lap 8. Pit road is going to be closed, Nolan, as we're getting ready to put stage 1 in the books. We're going to see if these guys are going to risk it for the biscuit for some chances to take home just 1 or 2 more stage points. Well, what are your thoughts?
Every lap that we get closer to the end of one of these stages, the pressure on these drivers goes up that much more. So no doubt we're going to be seeing something similar here tonight. Oh, how about this? That's an attempt we don't often see. Oftentimes when you see drivers trying to pass at that corner, it's them trying to see if they can't potentially get an up and up, right? Trying to see if they can't get a crossover. Very rarely do you see a pass being initiated there. Really bold there of Strunk.
Very bold indeed, but like I said, it's all about that risk versus reward. As it looks like we're getting ready to 1 to go here. It's going to be 1 to go, and guys are definitely running out of time if they're going to want to get more stage points. Strunk is doing everything he can, though, to keep that car going. I mean, he's driving the wheels off of it, literally, though.
Currently 2 laps left in stage number 1. Pit road did just close this time by, so will be 1 lap to go next time at the line. And of course, I think now is a good time as any to mention that caution laps do not count at road courses. And that, of course, is partially because, well, otherwise you'd have stage 2 only be about 4 laps long, right? And that really doesn't let a lot of these battles really start to spread on out. It doesn't let the strategy carry over from lap to lap. So that is why, of course, road course is exclusive. Caution laps do not count because you don't have to risk a caution coming up anywhere else down the line.
Yeah, I'm just amazed that we were actually able to get stage 1 in so clean. Really nobody lost the vehicle or anything. Everybody just kind of just battling pretty good around the track here. Doesn't look like we're going to have anybody going a lap down. Maybe that 43 car, though, he's going to have the leaders probably stuck in his rearview mirror a little bit sooner than he would like.
1.5 laps left to go. Strunk still trying to close, but Brooks Dirting starting to pull out a little bit more of an advantage. And I have a feeling here that Strunk might be a little bit finished here in this fight, unless he can really pull something together in the last lap here of this stage. I don't think he's going to be able to get there in time.
Yeah, looks like our leader's just going to pass that car of Gary Adamson's going to go ahead and put him a lap down, and now he's on the hunt for Paul Olsen. It's interesting when the leader went by Adamson. He had a little bit of a bobble there. I was just kind of like keeping my legs crossed. Everything worked out okay, but it did, though. Adamson now looks like he's going to yield and let that second car of Severa just go on through without incident.
Starting the final lap now of stage number 1. You can see Severa 2.5 seconds behind Eric Kling, and while that gap might seem large, it is a drop in the pool compared to how far back Justin Levine has fallen. We are talking a good 20-plus seconds. How about 22 seconds between first and third place? 30 seconds between first and seventh. That is a monumental gap in just 9 laps.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed, and it just kind of makes me even happier, Nolan, and I'm sitting up here beside you in the booth today instead of down there trying to fight for my life to the likes of Kling and Severa, as these guys are just putting on a blistering performance, dominating the rest of the field as we get ready to put stage 1 in the books. This race, though, has been nothing short of exciting. These guys definitely not lacking on the action, as they have been battling all the way through from the first lap to the last, Nolan. I think it's just been a great showing here so far at Texas.
Battle is still on for that 4th position on the racetrack, and it is not over yet. Ryan Strunk still has some time to make up on the front line of Ruzi Mustang, and he's going to once again look to cut it in tight. But I really love what Brooks Dirting is doing here, right? He is deliberately taking it wide, and I think that's a strategy. He's trying to goad him to go for that attempt because he knows that makes him that much slower out of the corner, so he gets such a massive head of steam down the back straightaway that Strunk's got nothing by the time the draft kicks in.
Yeah, because some of these guys, you know, as you're seeing, are trying to round off the edges, and some of the guys are just trying to cut through them. So it is a different strategy, but both are effective, especially when you're battling each other as well as these two gentlemen are. Looks like that 77 car is getting amped up, and he is going to try to make a move. But even though it looks like he might be running out of time, he is still going to try to get that car right there on the inside. So look forward to him setting up a move where he's going to probably try to dive really deep into a corner and then get the crossover on the inside.
Eric Kling wins stage 1 as he exits the final corner, but don't forget, you have to wait up until you get yourself 10th place across the line, and that is still a very long way back. In fact, 10th place just got onto the back straightaway. So it will be Kling first, Severa second. Coming across the line now will be Justin Levine, who will take 4th. Right behind it, it was Dirty for 4th. Strunk will get 5th. Chitsey will be right behind them in 6th.
All goes well. That looks like it might put Paddingale in 7th. The likes of Kenny Powell.
It's where he really gets to the big gaps between the cars, right? You really start to realize when you try to count them all out with each other.
Yeah. And it looks like Powell's going to take 8th. Derbyshire looks like he's going to clean up on 9th once he gets around the run here. And Kenny Thompson is going to be trying to wrangle in that 10th position. And I think he might just do it because I don't believe Keselowski is going to have enough time to catch up to him.
Don't believe he will. Kenny Thompson just coming around the final corner. Again, have to wait till that 10th place driver crosses the line just so everything can be 100% official. You never know if there might be a technical failure for somebody throughout the run that knocks them out. Now that he's across the line, though, stage 1 is now in the books. And to give you an idea of how far ahead Kling is, when 10th place across the line, Eric Kling's already at the 3rd sector, past turn 14.
I didn't want to say anything about that, Nolan, but that's exactly what actually occurred. Almost 11 laps for him by the time it was all said and done. But looks like we got stage 1 in the books, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to step away to get a word from our sponsors.
Get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. Order online or via our mobile app with advanced same day. Get same day pickup, same day curbside, or same day delivery. Advance your auto. Advance Auto Parts.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing SoundArt, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
I'm alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With SoundArt, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Yellow flag pit stops are underway, and everybody is into pit road. It was, of course, Eric going to lead them into pit road. Levine, though, gonna beat him out. How about that for Justin Levine being the first one out of pit road here, Al?
You said that the race off pit road wasn't going to be exciting. Who said it? Yellow flag pit stops were boring. Justin Levine now is saying that he wants to try his hand out front. Nolan, I didn't see it coming. I don't know how he must have short pitted. I would imagine probably just taking either right side or left side tires and fuel. But yeah, very ballsy move and a very, very awesome pit strategy.
So we don't often get the chance to talk to a number of people out there on the racetrack, and we got a bit of time to kill, so we're going to see if we can't get a dial up here with none other than Eric Kling. Let's see if your Stage 1 winner can join us up here in the broadcast booth. Eric, this is Nolan up here. How's it going down there for you?
Oh, not too bad so far. Just, driving.
I would say you were 8/10s clear of Severa at the stage COTA, but I would say being 23 seconds clear to third is not just okay. You are wiping the floor with the field there out there for quite a bit there, Eric. What do you think the plan's going to be here for stage 2 now that you're starting at third?
Staying clean. I think I'm faster than the 33. I think I'm faster than the 62. It's just about, figuring out how to get around him. And, the big thing with this track is going to be consistency. It's very hard to hit extremely fast laps every lap, and remember how to do it just because of the size of the track. So, it's going to be interesting to see.
And there's something we haven't talked about yet tonight, but we'll talk about that in just a second here. But the fuel numbers for stage number 3 are a bit interesting this week. Sometimes you'll have to pit for fuel, but it doesn't seem to be the case this week. What's going to be the plan for the third stage on the night?
I was going to wait until we got to that point, then make the decision. It's kind of one of those waiting games for me. I haven't ran too many of these races where it's had came down to fuel and everything. So I was just going to wait to that moment and then see what I can do to conserve fuel if needed.
Well, sounds good then, Eric. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to shout out for that G&G number 95 Ford Mustang?
Yeah, mostly G&G Racing teammates. Anyone that's watching. It's going to be pretty fun to see.
Thank you for taking the time to join us here tonight. Congratulations on a Stage 1 win. Best of luck in the second run. Well,
Yeah.
I was going to say we could talk to a couple of people here, Al, but actually it looks like that's not going to be the case. And the caution has been short by 1 lap, but that is the beauty of caution laps not counting. Who's going to really notice, right?
Yeah, and speaking of not really noticing, when you were actually talking to Eric, I was checking out the right, or I think it was the right front of that Ford. Looked like he had a little contact with someone.
I do know where that was actually from, by the way. That was coming around for the Stage 1 victory. He got into it within a lap traffic, as it would seem. Paul Olson, a bit slower than Clint was expecting, and unfortunate enough, just got run over in this very corner we're rounding at the moment.
So speaking of being a lot slower, and like I'm no mathematician, I'm just a guy that comes out here on Saturday and shoots my mouth off loosely. But as I was looking at the fastest lap times of this number 33 guy that's going to be leading this thing, it's just interesting to note that he's a little bit slower than the cart that's going to be behind him. So how much patience Kling has on the restart is definitely going to be interesting to see, as well as that freight train coming from the rear.
Eric Kling's going to round in the last couple of corners now, and Levine will be the one to take us back to the green flag. The field continues to double on up out of the final corner. Levine taking it nice and easy here. He realizes that he doesn't want to give these guys a whole lot of a chance to attack. He wants to make sure the field is formed up as well. Green flag is back out in the air, and we're underway for Stage 2.
Now a new leader is going to actually try his hand and see if he can't actually withstand this in the horde, I guess you would call it, coming behind him. As we got contact going there in the turn 1, Kling goes wide. Now this is going to be Levine's chance to see if he actually can go ahead and put one of these laps in the books as the leader, which would be awesome for him, because doesn't he pick up additional points if that's the case, Nolan?
Oh, contact between Strug and Durden are both going to go around over in turn 3. Pattingale sideways as well. And that was the way we were not looking for this battle to end. Durden and Ryan Strunk have been battling so hard with each other in stage number 1, and unfortunately it all falls apart in just 4 corners in the second stage. What a shame for the 77.
Yeah, but he's not gonna cease or desist. He's gonna get that car back up there and push it just as hard as he's been. Now, speaking of pushing just as hard as we've been, looks like there has been a lead change. That 62 car, Chris Rivera, now getting his chance to be up front and lead this thing for a lap, Nolan.
Up in front, Levine wants to go for the race lead. Tries to sweep underneath Severa, though, cuts through. And I don't think this is going to be an easy time here for just Levine to try to go at him here. Levine having a fight with this one a whole lot if he wants to try to reel in Chris Severa. Oh, Levine sideways, though, and he's into the grass in turn 14. So, and that's going to allow Eric Kling through, making it once again GNG 1-2.
You know, and that's what I was afraid of. Kling is, you know, he was giving her, not Kling, sorry, Levine was giving her everything that he had. He was driving the wheels off that car. I mean, realistically. And so, yeah, unfortunately, you know, that's what happens when you risk it for the biscuit.
Looking back at Kenny Powell now in his bid to try to see if he can't close on up to the likes of Greg Wyszynski. That's the overarching fight at the moment for what I believe will end up being 4th place on the racetrack. Now that, of course, unfortunately, Strunk and Durham both taking themselves out in turn 4. But Powell going to continue to fight with it as, oh, that was a lunge there from Gary Adamson, who is a lap down, by the way. So Gary Adamson have a bit of work ahead of him here if he wants to see if he can't go back and fight once more for those positions up at the front of the end of this field. But considering he has to come down with all the others if he wants to pit under the next caution, I have a feeling he's not going to be getting on the lead lap anytime soon.
Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you at home who do not understand that, we do not get free passes or lucky dogs on road courses. As a matter of fact, the only form of racing that I'm familiar with that has lucky dogs and free passes, Nolan, would be NASCAR. Is that correct?
Well, it's a bit of an iffy on that. Technically, there are free passes on the road course, right? You do get the Lucky Dog free pass, but pit road is only open for 1 lap, and you have to come down to pit road that 1 lap, whether you're a lap down or not. So you're really left with 2 choices. Either go out there and take the Lucky Dog, or come in and actually be on even footing with everybody else in the field. I mean, it's really is not really a really good host of options, isn't it?
It's really not, especially, you know, well, maybe with a shorter stage, it would kind of maybe work out if you're trying to gamble it to get back on the lead lap. That would be an advantage. But other than that, yeah, you not on the longer stage. It's definitely not going to work out.
Now a lot of this field started to split apart. Now that really the only couple of drivers that were competitive with this field are effectively out of it at the moment. But of course, it is still a long way to go, right? There is still going to be plenty of time left to go before this race comes to its conclusion. Still lots of racing left. You still got over 20 laps, which on an oval doesn't seem like a lot, but on a road course, that's about 2/3 of a race right now. So for these guys, having over 20 laps to work with is going to be a good thing, especially since they got the second stage caution coming on up here in just 6 laps.
Yeah, and not only that, it's going to be, here I go with that catchphrase of Mr. Nixon, it's going to be interesting to see just how long Kling stays back from Severa. Now, these 2 guys are obviously, both of them are extremely fast. We knew that coming into this race. Both very talented, skilled road racers. But, and really, their practice lap times were pretty close, Nolan. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this battle goes on and plays out for the race, because I mean, Severa's going to try to win it, but Kling, you know, he wants to win it too, and they're both just super fast.
Kling has really started to close up on Severa and looking to apply some serious pressure to his teammate just in front of him. And I have to think that sooner or later we're going to be seeing a really huge lunge being made in the field. And you have to talk about teams having team alliances. There's only 13 cars on the grid. And these drivers, they get a bit itchy, and they want to race somebody, and they will race with somebody else, teammate or not. Those lines get quite a bit blurry in races like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't care who you are, having somebody just totally hogging up your rearview mirror, it does something to your racecraft. So, you know, that Severa can't like having to be aggressive and fight for that position every turn. You know, I mean, am I making sense there?
You absolutely are, and I wholeheartedly agree with you on that one too. I like how Kling's trying to find different lines, right? He's not taking the same line through as Ferris, because he realizes that if he takes the same line, he's not really going to be able to get a whole lot else out of the car, is he? He's got to try to find something new, something that Severa doesn't know about. He's got to try to find that extra tenth of a second in every corner if he wants to have a shot on being able to get by him.
Yeah, and they're just going to keep doing just that. He's going to keep following them until, you know, eventually one of the two either makes a mistake or decision.
Gap was 0.8, 1 lap ago. And now, that gap is just down to just under 0.7 of a second. So Eric Kling is a little bit quicker that last time by, quicker by about 0.14 total. So Kling looking like he's going to get set here to try to pull himself together and go for the race leading. Look at how he's trying to nail every single apex with those anti-cut sausage curves, and that is just right on up to Severa, and that's one of the really crucial things about this first sector. You find yourself offline for one corner, you're going to find yourself offline for every corner going forward, and it has cost Severa dearly.
I mean, you couldn't have said that. I mean, I could have said it better, but you couldn't have said that any better, because you absolutely have to set up every corner from that first corner. You know what? I mean, that's the easiest way to explain this race, because if you're not lined up, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you dearly. And these two guys are I mean, just to give our audience an indication of how fast these guys are going, they're literally probably over 2 seconds faster than the next car that's closest to them in speed per lap.
So Severa got a little bit twitchy there on the exit of corner number 12. So Severa having a bit of a struggle there, it would seem, throughout this race, and he's not going to be the only one. It's now going to be a question of who has the potential to crack first. These cars can reach up to 170 miles an hour, and that brings on into turn 12. That has so far been the place for drivers to make moves tonight. Sooner or later, it's going to come back to bite one of them. After turn number 20, we'll be setting ourselves up from the run down to the first lap, and I actually think Kling's lost time this time by, and oh, how about that? No, he has not. Thought he was a bit too slow through that last corner, but he actually closed out by another 0.2 of a second. A 2:16.1 for Severa, a 2:15.9 for Kling. So Eric Kling is right on it here. This is going to be one heck of a battle here for the race lead.
Yeah, Kling's just biding his time, and he knows what he's doing. He's just setting up Severa. There's Severa sliding out of control, and Kling goes by on the inside.
Oh. And Severa having a huge tank slapper there, and he got all sorts of out of it. Just lost the back end all by himself, and that will see Severa tumbling out of the race lead. But it was a great save there for Severa, actually. And if we could, I'd like to get a look back on that from on board of Severa, because that was a fantastic job for him to keep that G&G Mustang underneath him.
You see, he goes around. Just a little, and she's just out just a little bit right there, and he keeps that wheel to position. Textbook, perfect recovery. Just kind of turned it into the direction of the slide and let it ride.
And now that will leave Chris Severa a long way behind Eric Kling, and unfortunately that's not a gap he's going to be able to reel in just about a couple of laps here, because, well, it was pretty obvious there that Kling's the faster driver, and he was closing in by a couple of tenths every lap, and now there's nothing to stop him from just being able to rip it out there as best as he can.
Yeah, and I was looking up prior to the pass, and I was just thinking there's not even lap traffic in between these guys. I mean they're literally in a league of their own, Nolan.
It's not the only battle out there for the race leaders as well. There's also a couple of scraps deeper in the field. I know, still waiting for 5th and 6th. But actually, was traded hands this last lap by. So Ryan Strunk. Oh, I see. He locked it up and went way too deep in turn 12. So Kenny Powell has broken through into 5th place now.
And that has got to be an awesome boost of confidence for Powell, who really he hadn't been doing too well on this track. So for him to see himself up in the top 5, I mean, that's I guarantee you that G&G teammate's going to be happy for that position. But Strunk is we're not going to see Strunk give up. He has been driving. If you want to see somebody who's been driving that car, this guy's been manhandling that 77 all night. I mean, it's just amazing to see him go through the corners on this thing. I mean, it's almost like he has had his own personal war with this track.
And there it is. Strunk's got the upper hand here on Kenny Powell down through 1 and 2. He's going to be looking to get through here in just a little while. Of course, there's actually under 2 laps to go now, or under 3 laps to go now in the second stage here. So Ryan Strunk going to be having to really push through to try to work his way past Powell and Quigg so we can break away and not be under fire on that final lap. He's doing what he has to do, right? He's keeping Powell on defense, letting him make mistakes while Strunk just nails the line every single corner.
He's nailing more than just the line, Nolan. Like I said, he's driving every inch of that track, where it seems like Powell's method is a little bit more slower and methodical. Strunk's just kind of driving it in there and throwing it around. I mean, it's interesting. We could just watch these two battle here as we get ready to take this stage 2 and put it in the books coming up here on lap 16 for the leaders.
Not close enough this time by for a look in at 12. But enough to close in and enough to apply so much pressure that Powell loses control through 12. That gives Strunk the upper hand for 13. And just like that, Ryan Strunk is back through. And Kenny Powell going to swing way out wide. Does not want to even touch that battle with a 10-foot pole. Powell's just content to just sit back and ride this one out, right? He's in 5th place, and I have him feeling for Kenny Powell. That's good enough for him for now.
I mean, yeah, you can't really argue the logic. I mean, if the guy in front, if the guy that's coming behind you's cars is beat up as Strunks, I just kind of let him go too. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I think he's made more than 1 point during this race with a nose job like that, right?
Oh yeah, he definitely made a couple of points so far in this race, and unfortunately for Strunk, he's got a little bit of work ahead of him. He wants to bring home the real prize, which will, of course, be those big top 5 points at the end of this race. Pit road, by the way, is closed. We are under 2 laps to go now in stage number 2. And closer to the halfway point as well. Of course, the caution will be coming out right at the end of halfway. So at the halfway mark, right when we cross over to lap 18, that will be the lap when we throw the yellow flag, which will leave us with just 16 laps of racing left to go when we come around to take that green flag for stage number 3.
So, Nolan, I heard that you recently had a birthday. You just turned 21. So my question for you is, and happy belated birthday, is at this stage in the competition, if you're, say, Powell, car's clean, still losing it a little bit, what's going through your mind? What are you trying to get set up here for this next 3rd and final long stage?
And it's a bit of a tough question on that one, honestly. If I'm Kenny Powell, he's got a little bit of damage on his car, and I think, honestly, at this point in time, I would take the time to get that damage fixed, right? I mean, these are long laps. We're talking almost 2.5-minute laps. Under caution, it's even longer. You're going to have time to get all of that damage fixed on your car, plus take 4 tires and a full tank of gas. And I think that's one thing we need to talk about as well. is the gas mileage. We haven't talked about that at all so far throughout tonight, but it is worth noting that there was a slight miscalculation in the fuel numbers. You might notice on the graphic, estimated 14 laps of fuel. That's not entirely the case because most people didn't pit in the Thursday night race under green.
So you don't say.
These drivers might be able to make it to the end. Now, granted, it would be very close. And if they push all the way out, we're talking all out to the end, they would be about half a lap short. But it would be close, and I imagine you save a lot under caution, you might just have enough.
Yeah, especially with a shortened race for a caution, because if we're going to lose a lap for the caution, that's going to make a huge difference as well, because that would have mean that Thursday night race would have been 2 laps longer. So fuel obviously not going to be a factor in that third and final stage, which means, unfortunately for some drivers, Nolan, it just makes it that much harder to catch up.
Just started the final lap now in the second stage. And problems with Justin Levine. Levine is actually way off course, and he is having a rough time out there. We got to get a look at what the heck has happened here. It's all gone wrong, though, for Justin Levine, and just now got going. He did stall the car out. I think he's actually made the same mistake here that we saw people make earlier on in this race, that we saw the likes of Chris Rivera make. Just lost it at the apex of the curb and just, looped it around and locked it up, went way deep. But good job to lock it down immediately and keep it out of the Tech Pro barriers. That could have been disastrous for Levine.
Yeah, no harm, no foul. Just lost a couple more positions. But, hey, this guy started at the front of this thing when we started, so that was a very bold decision. And I thought he short pitted, but no, he took 4 tires, got his fuel, and he came out there and he did what he had to do. So Levine has nothing to lose. He didn't hit anything. He was just going all in, going hard at it. So, yeah, I like it. I like the spirit.
We'll see if Levine can't get past Ryan Strung. He was pulling away by a considerable margin, so we'll see if he can't find a way back through. Locks it up big time, so Levine won't be able to go for it in turn 12. Meanwhile, Eric Kling going to be coming around now through turn 19, setting himself up for 20. No competition behind. Chris Rivera nowhere to be found. That will mean the 95 T-Mobile Ford Mustang wins the second stage on the night.
But you know who's not done yet? That 77 car and that 33. These two guys been battling each other all night. And now they find themselves coming up into the perfect position just to fight it out for stage points. And it's official, right? So what do they got to lose? We'll see what Levine does. How much is he gonna lift on Levine? Is he gonna set him up? They've been doing classic crossovers since we started this thing. So let's just see how these two play it out. Call us home, though.
Oh, Levine's not going to go for it. Doesn't want to take the risk. He's going to let Strung have it. So Ryan Strung picks up a surprise 4th place from COTA. That, of course, will put in the likes of Brooks Durden in 6th with Kenny Powell right behind him in 7th. Pacquiao picks up at 8th place, and that will put Kenny Thompson potentially in 9th and Kozlowski potentially in 10th. Both of them still rounding turkey turn 8.
Yeah, and it looks like we've had a couple other drivers drop out. I believe Derbyshire is dropped out of the contest, so he is no longer racing. And I think Paul Olsen just reconnected, so not much going on there outside of the top 10.
And Kozlowski crosses the line, which brings us to the end of stage number 2 on the night. We're going to take one more quick step away. We'll be back with you with stage 3 in a few moments.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. Order online or via our mobile app with advanced same day. Get same day pickup, same day curbside, or same day delivery. Advance your auto. Advance Auto Parts.
And pit stops once again underway at Circuit of the Americas under the stage 2 caution. And Travis Manning, Chris Farah trying to keep nice and close there, Kling, as they all enter pit road. So far, no dramas under this caution period, unlike the last one. Now the question is, will Kling be once again duped on pit exit and be bested out? This time, not so much. Kling enters, Kling leaves, all in the lead.
Yeah, that's awesome. We see Josh Levine trying to get that 3-3 out there as fast as he possibly could as well. You know, you make up a lot of spots on pit road. And this is one of those instances, Nolan, where that's going to be very beneficial. This track is just, it's kind of hard to pass. So you want to get out front, or as close to out front as you can. And the best way to do that is pit road.
And now, with us back under this caution period and pit stops now fully complete, we'll see if we can dial up the likes of Chris Severa, your stage 2 runner-up. But I'll hand this one off to you here, Al.
Hey, Chris, this is Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, man, so how's everything going down there? You're looking pretty good in that 62 Ford.
Besides the off and the S's, yeah, it's all right. Just don't seem to have the same amount of grip as Eric's got. Eric's got this thing figured out. Just trying to match him, see if we can't outsave him here for the end here.
So you set out saved, so is that giving us an indication that fuel mileage might be something of a factor in this stage to see?
Yeah, right now we're a gallon and a half to the good, so the fuel shouldn't be an issue. And we're going 1 to green here anyway, so I know Thursday night they went an extra lap here under yellow. But yeah, no, it shouldn't be an issue. I feel like towards the end of the first 2 stages, I'm starting to get a little better on tire versus Eric, so that's going to be our big hit and big concentration point here for the stage.
So how are you feeling about where you're at? You've actually been up front. Actually, you actually started this thing in the second, I believe. So you've been up front. This is the farthest back you've been. Does that cause you any anxiety? Sorry, I got to get my words right. Going into turn 1 on this restart.
Turn 1 shouldn't be too big of a deal. Just as long as people behind me get it woed down. Bigger concern is more people like checking up, getting into the S's. I don't think people are as confident into the S's as me and Eric have been tonight. So like I said, we're just gonna have to be patient, but at the same time, we can't lose a lot of time to him at all.
Yeah, you guys at G&G seem to have this place figured out. You've been running on the rail. But before I let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, everybody at Gas and Go. Tucson Sound Art, Rain for sponsoring the car. Big shout out for what's it called? My uncle actually passed away this weekend, so we're actually racing for him tonight. Chester Mural. So Uncle Chet, we're gonna try and put it in victory lane for you. So we're gonna do the best we can here.
Hey man, sorry. My condolences for your loss, and good luck to you out there, Chris. Have a good evening, sir. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Well, with that, we're going to start to move things on over as we get set to go back racing for stage number 3. Cars are coming around through the last couple of corners now. Real quick here, Al, you got any favorites you'd like to win this one? I'm personally going with Eric Kling.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with 62. I mean, after he's racing for his uncle, and that's just as good a cause as any, man. So I'm going to go with that 62 Gas and Go Ford of Chris Severa.
So Kling in the T-Mobile Mustang comes around through turn number 20. We get set to once go racing. This time it's a very early launch. Kling already clear by 0.4 of a second, and Levine caught napping. He's already lost second, and he's already lost third in the mad dash up to turn 1.
What a launch Kling got. I mean, it was like he just waited as a predator, and as soon as he got the opportunity and he was straight, he was gone. And that is going to make all of the difference in the world, because Levine had a position where he was up front the last start of this thing, Nolan. Now he's slipping all the way back. I don't think, based on his driving style, he's going to be able to really make. Oh, and the 62 Severa gets into that to 77 of Ryan Struck, but he saves it and he keeps going.
What a save for Chris Severa. This time, though, I have to say, that was on Severa. He hit the sausage curb, and that's what flicked him sideways, not the contact with Strunk. He was already truly sideways by then. As well as that, you've also got drivers like Kenny Powell being put under fire. Pattengale about to be overtaken by Brooks Durden as well, down in turn number 10. There's a lot of drivers here looking very, very antsy here as we get set to battle this one out of stage number 3. There goes Durden, takes the inside away from Pattengale. It looks like the Frontline Mustang might just have the upper hand on the Tucson Sounder Shake and Bake Mustang of Robert Pattengale. Pattengale's gonna go through and he'll be tucking it in line now, right back there in the 8th position. Meanwhile, battle's on for second place. Levine, you see the smoke charging up the inside of Ryan Strong, but Strong gonna hold firm on the outside line of turn 12.
Yeah, what was I thinking? So, yeah, you're right. The two cars that are in second and third place have been the two guys that have been battling in it harder than anybody else on the track has. And Severa finds himself behind these guys. He doesn't want to get caught up in this, Nolan. I think he's just going to want to sit back, watch and see how the 33 deals with the 77, and then try to get through those two when they do what they've done so many times here tonight, which is they're gonna tangle up at some point. Am I wrong on that one?
Turn 19. Only one way to wait and see if you're wrong with that one. That's going to be to wait to see how the rest of this race could play out. But I'm more likely willing to bet that you're not quite so wrong. Oh, Levine sideways. Oh, and Severa loses it again. All the way out of turn number 20. He got way too wide and actually went onto the AstroTurf. But that AstroTurf does not last. He clipped the grass, and that just sent him around. He did such a good job to keep that thing out of the barriers and out of everybody else.
Yeah, because we saw Levine go around like that and then Severa came, but he just got, like you said, just probably 2 inches too much into the green stuff, the grass, and then, yeah, that car just doesn't hook up there, man. So, unfortunately for Severa, everything that he's fought for, he seems to be losing back. But don't worry, plenty of racing left, and I'm sure other people are going to make mistakes as we get ready to go ahead and keep rolling this thing to go as we're coming almost to 20, it'll be almost 14 to go.
And now Severa's having to work his way back up through the order. He's trying to hound the back end of Robert Pattengale as they make their bid now to dive it in down towards turns 10 and 11. And Pattengale's just going to let Severa sweep right through. Does not want to battle that out, but that's going to leave Pattengale vulnerable to Kenny Thompson. The Ultra Wings 2 Camry going to go up the inside, and I think might just have Pattengale beat here in the run down the back straightaway. Well, I say that now. Pattengale's going to have the draft of Chris Severa to work with all the way down this long straightaway, and I actually think Pattengale could get one up here on Kenny Thompson in the mad dash down to turn 12.
Yeah, I think Pattengale's maybe his mindset is a difference between Severa passing me and you passing me. I mean, that's all that is. I think he is going to battle for that position. Pattengale's been running out here, and he's been doing real good tonight. He's just been in his own lane kind of sort of, just feeling his way around this track and seeing how it goes. We don't really get to say his name a lot, but Robert Pattengale, you know, we're going to give a shout out to old Robert here as we're getting ready to go here on this thing with 15 to go.
So all of this is definitely having a solid run for everybody in this field. I mean, this has been a pretty entertaining race, all things considered, right? I mean, it hasn't been, I would say, as entertaining as some of the races we've had in the past. We're talking about, of course, past even road course races, right? Watkins Glen, typically a very entertaining road course race during the tradition show that we have on the ISCA. But considering Circuit of the Americas, you consider well, I should say lack of interesting shows we've had at Circuit of the Americas in the past, even with NASCAR as a whole. The fact that it's been as exciting as it has tonight really does speak volumes about how this race has been going on. Eric Kling's under fire for the race lead, by the way, by Ryan Strung, or at least he was before Strung bobbled turn 3. But a 77 car has all of a sudden caught up to the T-Mobile Mustang. What on earth has happened here? Eric Kling's just got no pace underneath him all of a sudden, it seems.
I think he was just kind of taking it easy because he wants to save his gas and he wants to save his tires. But Strunk's just not going to let him take a night off, so to speak. Strunk is going to, if anybody's going to put their nose in there on that 95 car, it's going to be Ryan Strunk. So probably going to put the hammer down a little bit more because I don't think he wants to deal with this guy.
Oh, there it is, inside line of 11. But he cut it in too early and just didn't track out enough. And so Eric Kling just got the drop on him on corner exit, so Kling will be able to have an easy advantage. Sprint to turn 12. Strong's looking for the inside, but I think he's way too far back to have any kind of a pass from that far back. I say that now, he's certainly going to try it, isn't he? Lunges for the inside, but again, just cuts it in too tight. That's what's costing him at the moment. he just cuts it in way too tight, and it only costs him in the long run.
Yeah, and if you look at the way Kling is running, his lines are so clean. I mean, and he did just kind of slack off a little bit. He was in the lead, had really no contentions because he's totally 2 seconds ahead of everybody else out there besides Severa. So next thing you know, Strunk kind of made it close to make it interesting, I guess.
So you got a lot of battles starting to pick up. You've obviously got this fight in the race lead, which is going to continue to develop. You've also got Chris Severa, who is now threatening Kenny Powell into turn 20. So Severa's going to be trying to find a way through, but he's going to run too wide. Oh, this time he learns of his mistakes and doesn't cut into the grass. I'll tell you what, these cars are so sensitive to the grass. I mean, I know a lot of people complain on iRacing about the GT3 cars, right, about how twitchy they are when they get on the grass. Not nearly as bad as these stock cars do when they even get close to the grass, even look at it. Severa's got the advantage on Powell through turn 1, and will clear through 2.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think anybody in their right mind could even begin to compare GT3 cars handling to one of these next-gen cars on a road course. Two totally different drivetrains. I mean, I don't know. Those GT3 cars, that kind of like seems like they're on a rail sometimes. Where with these cars, it feels like you're out of control a lot of times. That's just my experience. What do you think about that, Nolan?
Well, I think we'll have to see how it all plays out later on, right? I mean, there's a lot of race still left to go. At the moment, we're going to have about 13 and a half laps left to go in this race. There's definitely still a lot of fun to be had here in this race. There's a lot of excitement to be had in this race as well. Just got to be patient and let these drivers get a bit close together to be able to properly fight it out with one another. That's when we're really going to be starting to see these drivers properly making the best use out of these Gen 7 stock cars they have underneath them. So at the moment, I'm keeping track of two different battles. You got 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You got 5th and 6th as well. Sorry, I should say 6th and 7th place now that Kenny Powell has fallen back to 6th place after being overtaken by Chris Severa in turn 2 this last time by.
Yeah, the best battle, though, is definitely going to be that battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Because, like I said, Levine and Strunk, these guys have been going at it like nonstop so far for this race. And now with the likes of Wachinski coming into the mix of this, it's just going to make it even more spectacular. But I think, like I said, Kling was just trying to kind of keep his legs straight, but I don't think he expected Strunk to catch him as quick as he did. So I think he's already stretched his legs back out now to kind of get his lead back out to where it's comfortable so he can just continue to race his own race. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Whoa! Dirting way deep in turn 1. Started to cut you off there. You saw just at the tail end of the shot. Everyone else is turning in. Dirty just went clean off the track. It's a bit of an interesting run these drivers are having, right? I mean, you got yourself all these various driving personalities all trying to find their own place on the racetrack at the same time, and it is kind of cluttering things up a bit, right? I mean, even in a track like this, it can get crowded mighty quickly out there, even if you have just one car around you, such as Robert Pagel is finding out here in his fight with Kenny Thompson as he tries to keep that 22 Delta or Ultra Wings Camry at bay.
Watch out.
Whoa. Yep, that's Brooks Durden again. We just saw him go way off at turn 1, and we're going to have to get another look at that one because that car is just tore up now because of that one, or at least the back end of it is. So we're going to take another look at this one here, see what happened. Looks like he just kept it out of the tire barrier, or out of the Armco barrier. It's coming down to the turn 10, and I think just took too much curb, I think, and looped it around. Once again has to lock it down into the grass and just keeps it out of the barriers.
Well, that's the cool thing is when you don't actually hit anything.
Some smoked up tires. I'm sure no driver on this racetrack is going to be complaining about that.
Yeah, so far, like I said, everyone is managed to remain relatively clean, even though we've had some drivers that have actually lost control of their cars on the racing surface. No one has actually had any major contact. We got a couple cars that are running throughout the field that have significant signs of damage, but like even the second place car, Brian Strunk, his car seems to be pretty beat up, but it doesn't seem to be affecting his handling or his performance, Nolan. So that's got to be a breath of fresh air for some of these guys, to see that they can actually go out there and maybe race a little bit more aggressive on these road courses and not have to sacrifice handling or performance.
I think when you start to kind of look forward as to how the 2022 schedule is going to play on now here altogether for this Tucson Sounder Cup Series, you got a lot of very exciting road courses ahead of you, and even some other duller road courses, right? The next one up is Sonoma. And I'm going to be, I hate to be blunt here, Al, but I think that is one of the least fitted road courses for not just stock cars, but racing in general, right? It's almost impossible to overtake cleanly there. There's no real good passing opportunities. You have to get a good run on people. But the one after that, one of my favorite road courses on the service, Road America. Long straights, hard braking zones. One of the longest road courses you got on the service. It is phenomenal, and it is just so beautiful. And then on top of that, last road course on the season, Watkins Glen. One of the classics, right? One of the OG road courses for the NASCAR Cup Series. On top of that, with the newest, one of the newest road courses, the Charlotte Roval, introduced only in 2018, right? And of course, that is a road course that a lot of people know and love. We had a lot of very interesting races at tracks like this one coming up ahead of us in the season. I can't wait to see all of them play out.
Yeah, and one thing about these cars is the drivers get more seat time in turning left and right, both here and in the actual series. These cars are way more suited for that type of racing. So I think as I am excited, I'm way more excited about road courses in the next gen car than I would have been, say, previously. Ooh, looks like we got a little bit of action there between Patton, Gale, Wachinski, and Patton, Gale, Thompson, and Dirting, I believe it was. If we could just rewind there with Patton, Gale, we'll see those three just got a little bit close for comfort there going around that turn here just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you are absolutely right. You saw just the last little bits of it, and we're going to take another look at this one here. This is down through turn 12. There's the look from Dirting. Lunges up the inside of Patton, Gale, tries to go for the move. Patton, Gale tries to cross him over here. Doesn't work out for him, and you're going to see right up front, there's Kenny Thompson. Oh, there it is, just going around, and oh, boy. I don't think Brooks Dirting meant to drive out quite that far, honestly. Definitely put him under fire from Robert Pattengale in the very next corner. And that could have been a very, very big incident if the three of them hadn't gotten that sorted. So excellent driving at all of them. Once again, these drivers showing the heads-up potential that all of them have so far to get themselves a good run. By the way, second place starting to pick on up. Justin Levine has caught up to Eric Lang, looking to get around that grindstone. Stump grinding, number 77 Chevrolet looks for the inside, dive to the inside in the checker one, number 33 Mustang pushes out wide and almost gets into Strunk, but keeps firm in third place for now. But look at how close he is. He's absolutely going to have a lunge up into 12.
Yeah, these two guys are just going to go ahead and battle it, but if you look right here at the edge of your frame, you'll see who is actually bringing in the gap to close up on both of them, and that's that 62 car, Chris Severa. So as the 77 and 33 are going to duke it out, the 33, the one thing he doesn't want to see is that 62 coming. He would have had his hands full alone with the 77, but the 62 car is actually a lot faster than both of them. So we're going to see how this plays out, and I think with coming up on 10 to go, as we take the line this time by, I believe this is probably going to make for probably one of the most exciting races here at this track with this car.
And Chris Severa now has to look past Ryan Strong. He obviously let Justin Levine go. That much was very, very clear. To not want to risk battling that with Levine. He knows Levine's quicker, just wants to let him through and stem the bleeding. Severa, though, trying to capitalize on that one, trying to have a go at Strong, and this is where it could get feisty. 10 laps remaining from Circuit of the Americas, and so far, Severa showing no real motive on being willing to give up in that lunge for third place in this race.
Yeah, no, he's not. Strong is definitely not going to give up anything either. I mean, we are 10 to go. This is about as live as you're going to get. The only person that's probably feeling good about everything the way it's going right now has got to be Eric Kling, because with these three guys battling for that second, third, and fourth position, it's just allowing him the opportunity to pull away, stretch his legs, not actually have to work his equipment too hard. So, you know, Severa, as we talk to him here at the stage, oh, Severa gets into the back of Kling. He just kind of punted him a little bit. I don't know how that's going to affect the performance of that. Can we rewind that on 62? We'll see. He just kind of got right into the back of Kling as they were coming into that turn right there. I mean,
Kling was a few seconds up the road. Yeah, Strunk. I think it's a bit more of an accurate turn of phrase, and right there, he definitely was not wanting to do that. You can see him already jamming on the brakes even before he made the contact. He was just caught off guard.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he actually did make contact or if his front nose was pancaked as a result of something earlier, but like it's still going to be these guys battling for this position. That's what it's going to happen. Now Severa's definitely going to put himself in a position here to attack Strunk for this position here for the third place position.
So with that all set in mind, Eric Kling continues to lead. Levine still trying to charge after him in second, and at this rate, it looks like Severa and Strunk will be more focused battling with each other than they will be trying to chase after just Levine up the road. Strunk goes deep into the next couple of corners here, and Severa trying to fight back, but Ryan Strunk not making it easy for him, and he's really backing Severa up here at the moment.
Yeah, Severa definitely. I mean, I think I could say it. I'll say whatever. It's more like an inconvenience of being behind someone at this track than it is a race, you know, because it's kind of hard to pass. If people aren't going to be, they're not going to just roll over and let you go. You kind of got to get creative to get around folks. You know what I mean?
Under 10 laps to go at this point in time. Strong. Oh, that's too deep. That's not going to help. Nope, no, it isn't. There it is. Cutting that cross, turn 4. I knew as soon as he was going in there, Al, he was not about to make that corner, and that is going to be a slowdown penalty served. And that means a free third place for Chris Severa.
Yeah, now Severa just has to make the most of the opportunity he has been given. It seems like the gods just opened the door and smiled down on him. It's going to give him the opportunity to hunt down that number 2 car, Joshua Levine, because he is faster than Levine, and Severa now is on the hunt. I could smell it from up here, Nolan. Just a shift in the entire atmosphere. Did you feel that?
I certainly did, and I can guarantee you that kind of atmosphere is not going away anytime soon. And the atmosphere you kind of like to see. It brings in the action to a racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we need. We need more racing for positions. This has been a great race. We've had a lot to talk about. I was fearing coming in here, you know, Saturday afternoon at Fort Worth. I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? It's going to be boring. I mean, that's what you usually get. You get a lot of single file racing drivers all over the track. We haven't had that here. We've had a lot of 4-position racing. It's been clean. It's been exciting, and I mean, I'm happy.
I'm certainly happy as well. I mean, this has been one exciting race so far, and there is going to be no doubt a whole lot more where this has come from as we get set to get closer and closer towards the end of this race. So with that set in mind, a lot of these battles starting to pick apart. We'll tune into one of the battles that is only going to be looking to pick up just that little bit more. How about the fight between Kenny Powell and Greg Wyszynski looking to close on in for 5th place? You can see that Powell has been steadily reeling in a little bit more over the last little while. And Greg Wyszynski is starting to continue to keep Powell at bay, but Powell looking to see if he can't find some way, somehow, to break through Wyszynski's defense in front of him.
Well, it's going to be interesting, though, because those two guys are actually pretty tight here as far as lap times on this track. So if Powell is actually able to close that gap on Wyszynski, I don't know if he might have, I don't know if he'll be actually able to be powerful enough to make the pass. So, but definitely the next closest battle on the track that we will be looking at is going to be those two. And Powell's totally got to be impressed with his performance here tonight. I mean, he's in the top 6 now, and that is nothing to sneeze at. These road courses, especially this one in particular, can prove to be so freaking demanding, difficult, tedious, arduous, all of those other words. And you know, maybe at the end of it, somewhat fun. But these guys are working tonight. I mean, they're not just out there at the office hanging out. They're having to be so focused and so in tune to what's going on that it is almost like surgery. That's the way you have to look at it.
Wyszynski is starting to increase his gap on Kenny Powell, which means he's doing his job excellently. You cannot ask anything more of that number 5 driver to continue to extend that gap and see if maybe, just maybe, he can find a way to close with Ryan Strunk right in front of him. So as we get set to enter the final closing stages of this race, why don't we take a look a little bit further up the grid? Let's go to Christopher. Why don't we ride on board with that number 62 Mustang for a couple of laps here? Show what it's like from a driver's eye view around Road America, around Circuit of the Americas. And well, you might wonder what the heck happened here. Well, there's your answer. Ryan Strunk went too deep, and Greg Wyszynski just got right up and in him. Take a look at this one here. They're Strunk right up the road. Strunk locks it up. Goes way deep. Wyszynski cuts it in. Just as Strunk starts to come back on the track, he pushes out as Strunk's coming back on, and they just collide, and they both get sent around. That is some horrible miscommunication there, unfortunately, there, Al.
I don't know if that was miscommunication or pre-celebration. I don't know what you call that, but it didn't look like it needed to happen, Nolan. I don't know if I can say that on TV, but it just looked like it was more than incidental. I mean, you got to lift and give, but these guys are still going at it as we are, coming up on 5 to go here. So Severa is now finding himself in a position where he gets to freely hunt down Kling, and he is on the hunt for Kling. That's going to make that lead battle be very exciting. Because of what just took place with Strunk, Wyszynski, and Powell, that's going to make that battle even more exciting. A lot of guys going to be going home tonight here with hardware or stories to share, feeling very good about themselves. Nolan, what do you make of all of this?
I'm telling you what, I'm making now the what could be a potential fire burner of a race to end things out here at Circuit of the Americas. There is still quite a bit of time left to go. I mean, yes, there is going to obviously be still 6 laps remaining, but you have to realize that there is still a lot of time that can be killed in that short amount of time, right? I mean, we're talking 2.5-minute lap times. Those 5 laps, that is going to easily equate to at least 10 minutes worth of racing. That is more than enough time for something to happen still.
Yeah, 10 minutes of racing is going to end up for about 8 minutes of excitement, I hope, for us as we are coming down to 5 to go on this thing. I mean, almost putting it in the books. This is go time. This is the time everybody has to go ahead and grab it and run. You usually will probably wait till 2 to go, but I don't think you got time for that as you look at Severa closing that lead even ever more on Eric Kling. Now, Eric Kling, like I said before, he was probably just kind of taking it easy, just enjoying the ride, saving fuel in his tires, but Severa has been on the move for much of this third and final stage. He hadn't had the same luxuries as Kling has, just to kind of sit back and relax. He's had to fight tooth and nail for every position that he's got, so I don't think that he's willing to just relinquish that chase and just settle for second place. So hopefully that'll make that battle for the lead even that much more exciting.
So we'll see how this battle for the lead could potentially stem on up as we continue to get to the closing laps of this race. 5 laps remaining, 4 at the line. And I can guarantee right now, Severa is not even wanting to let Eric Kling breathe for that race lead. There is still more than enough time to see battles like this shake up. And I love this, right? Because usually at road course races, the leader just has to run away with it. Maybe you'll get second place charging down at the start of the runs, but it's usually a 4 or 5 second gap at least by the end, right? Very, very rarely do you see these gaps with 5 laps to go still under a second from one another. And I love it, right? Because it just lets these battles continue to develop, and it keeps drivers on their toes even when their tires are already completely shot.
Yeah, I do. I know what you mean. I totally understand. But one thing, too, that they are going to have to navigate eventually is just enough time that they probably will run into lap traffic, and that's going to make it even that much more maybe exciting as we come to 1 to go. Because if my math calculations are correct, by the time they reach lap traffic, it should be either 1 or 2 to go. But it will be a factor, and that will be Keselowski. So it'll be interesting to see if Al will yield or if he will actually stay away. Now, while we were sitting there talking, there was actually a nice little pass there between Greg Wyszynski and Ryan Strunk. Looks like Wyszynski was actually able to get around Strunk for position. I think Strunk kind of maybe lost control just a little bit. So with that, he's going to find himself falling all the way back into 8th place.
And lost control, he absolutely did. In fact, he lost control at turn 11. Just locked it up into the braking zone and looped it all the way around, full 180. But Strong back out on the racetrack now, so good thing for him on that one. How about Wyszynski, though, looking to really apply pressure to teammate Kenny Powell here. So it's DuPont versus, of course, the 24 Camry. How is this going to play on out? Wyszynski, loses the back end. And that is one battle that is once again out the window. Battles on for the lead as well. Severa trying to look on the inside of Kling and a turn 13. He jumps over the sausage curve, though. And that helps Kling keep ahead.
Yeah, don't forget, Severa is racing for a cause, and he is actually out there letting all of his horses just hang out. That's what I say. He is risking it for the biscuit, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to actually make sure that Kling has his hands full as we are now going to be coming up, getting ready to come up here. Well, these guys are right smack dab in the middle of lap 31, so going to be 3 to go at the line. And that's just plenty of time for Severa to go ahead and try to make his move. At this point, all he can do is get more aggressive. As you see, he loves to take it wide. He's going to try to drive it in deep. He's going to try. I mean, he has got to set Kling up in order for him to have a chance to win this thing.
3 laps left to go. Severa versus Kling. How will this fight continue to shake on and up? As well as I've also got Wachinski and Powell that is still continuing to close on. In fact, Powell actually got into the wall. Just 1 corner to go. Lost control out of discount Turkey turn 8 and slammed the Armco barriers, but still held on to that 4th place for now. Greg Wachinski, though, has been allowed to reel in by a country mile as a result of that one. That's not the only battle track either. There's also 6th and 7th place. How about Robert Pattengale? He's been slowly trying to reel in the likes of Brooks Durden. He is right on the back end of the number 31 Mustang now.
It's got to feel good for that Pattengale crew. I mean, so once again, he's got a chance to bring some biscuits to the house. So I'm going to give I've already given one a shout out to Robert. He comes out here every week and he puts his heart into it. So for him to actually be able to take home a top 10 finish, that is awesome. I mean, if we go back to the battle for the lead, though, looks like Severa just drove it in there a little bit deep, trying to get across Kling, and that almost left some dire freaking consequences, but Severa actually able to recover that and get that car back on the road again.
And Severa looks to the inside of 13. Not going to happen, though. Maybe for 14. Oh, he's going to try it. Sticks his nose in, but is forced to back out. Oh, it's enough, though. Kling runs wide. Severa pulls alongside with 2.5 laps left to go. And that gives Severa the upper hand and take the high side through turn 16. Oh, but they both bobble on the exit of the corner and on the power. Now, Severa holds the bottom, Kling up top. It's a slider for Severa on a road course of all places. But Kling not going to be able to go for the crossover.
Yes, Severa just drifting and shifting, man. Just drifting and shifting. Keep on, put it down, get the nose down the front straight, and let that baby eat.
Oh, and there you can see Eric Kling got the upper hand. Severa went too deep in turn 19. And now it's a heads-up drag race with 2 to go in the run up to turn number 1. Kling trying to hold strong. Severa on the right with Eric Kling bobbling and locking up on the left. Severa tries for the over-under. Not going to happen this time, though. Kling back to the point in the T-Mobile 95 Mustang.
Man, my heart is full of joy seeing these two teammates in 2 Fords just battling for the lead. I mean, I just keep grinning. Nolan, take us home with this as we had 2 to go. Ladies and gentlemen, you couldn't find a better lead, a better race finish that's going on than the one we got right here. And just like I predicted, looks like we're going to have that 88 car. Kozlowski's going to be coming into the frame. And so now we're going to have to deal with lap traffic as well, Nolan.
Catching out Kozlowski. This could potentially be in trouble here for this brewing battle if the 88 car doesn't get up and out of the way. They're both catching at a rapid rate of knots. So what's going to happen here? Kling already looking for the inside line, and looks like Severa's going to be willing to follow, I think. Kozlowski is off the throttle. In fact, he is. He just wants both of them to go through. He is not about to get in the way of this battle for the race lead, not with 1.5 laps left to go. Severa, bit deeper on the brakes, closing into the braking zone. Not enough, though, to dive to the inside of turn 12.
He has definitely got a heat-seeking missile locked onto the back of that 95, studying every turn, every entrance, every exit, just trying to figure out when he's going to be able to drive in deeper and get that line on that 95, because he is, at this point, Severa is wanting to do everything that he can. As he looks to the inside, just going to bobble a little bit, let that 95 take a little bit more of the lead back.
Gonna be one lap to go this time by Severa. Still has a chance to try to go for a race win. Does he have what it takes to try to pull one out of the hat and steal the race away from Eric Kling? Kling so far has won both stages. Severa locks up in the final corner and gets loose as well. Is that enough to cost him a race win as they take the white flag?
No, he's just got one more lap to get it right is what that means, Nolan. And you know definitely he has been going to school. So Severa, being a student of the game, as you will definitely do everything in his power to make certain that he puts that 6'2", guys, and go forward in front of that 95 T-Mobile forward. So as we come into the last lap, Nolan, I'm going to shut up and let you take us home with this. But this is going to be a battle for the ages.
So Severa can continue to try to work it out here with Eric Kling, and Kling having to work hard to keep Severa in behind him. How's this going to play on out? There's still not a lot of time left to go in this race, and now with under one lap to go, you have to wonder, is this game over, Chris Severa? Oh, he's loose again, and I think that might be about it through turn 11. Unless Kling has a monstrous mistake here, I don't think Severa's going to get back by him.
Oh, yeah, little faith.
Turn 12 for Severa, trying to keep close with Eric Kling up into 13. The number 95 car still keeping Severa at bay. There's been no move made. I think this is game over for Chris Severa. Eric Kling trying to keep him tight. Severa trying to get him one up, but he's loose again, sliding sideways, and now Kling pulls out a gap over a second, and now Eric Kling has got nothing to worry about. In the T-Mobile 95 gas and go for Mustang. He comes through turn 19 with just one more braking zone left to go into turn number 20 for the final time. And Eric Kling will pull the hat trick and win the Advanced Auto Parts 115 from Circuit of the Americas.
Now let's shift to that battle for that fourth place between Wachinski as he loses it, which is going to allow Powell to secure that fourth place finish. That was the next best battle that we had to go, and I feel like I just lost a bunch of money at the racetrack, figuratively and literally, Nolan. I think that my car just lost, and that ain't cool. The 33 car, what?
And now you have Greg Wachinski diving for the inside. Kenny Powell trying to keep him at bay, and he's going to do so. Powell will hold on for fourth place. And Wachinski will slow up. And he will take home a fifth place finish. On top of that, Durden broke past Pattengale for sixth.
Which looks like Ryan Strunk is going to possibly maybe be able to secure that eighth place position. Looks like that 36 car Gary Adamson is going to be, with Adamson being a lap down. So that's going to show the 22 car of Kenny Thompson going to be in ninth place, with Al Keselowski going to be rounding out our top 10, showing a lap down as well. That's going to show Gary Adamson in 11th place being a lap down. Paul Olsen and Austin Derbyshire obviously withdrawing from the competition early on. But looks like that's going to bring everything to a close for us here. Nolan, an exciting race. I mean, so what are your takeaways from this as we get ready to talk to our top 3 finishers. What are your takeaways from this, especially? I'll interview you going into next week because we get ready to go to a couple of short tracks, and then we're going to Talladega. So this is going to be insane. You know what I mean? This was the one thing on the calendar is kind of like a root canal that we just all, I think, had to get over. That being out the way now, that we're getting ready to go racing.
Oh yes, it is going to be by far a very, very exciting run over at Richmond in just 1 week's time. Of course, you know that Richmond Raceway is by far one of the best short tracks that you can find out there when it comes to racing. Right after that, slow it down a little bit more. We're swinging over to Martinsville in Virginia. But for now, it's not as if we can't get a chat with our top 2. As I understand it, Just Levine not going to be able to join us here tonight. Had some commitments he had to run to right after this race, but we still do have the top 2. And fun fact, there were 2 of only 3 drivers who did not change their positions at all throughout the course of the race. And seeing as Eric Kling is getting ready to still burn it down out there on the front straightaway, why don't we start things off here with Chris Severa here, Al? We'll let Kling celebrate for a little while longer. I'll pass you down to second place.
Hey, Chris, this is Big Al up in the booth, man. Congratulations on that second place finish. I'm going to tell you, Chris, I was really rooting for you, man. Our hearts were heavy for Uncle Cliff and was hoping that you could have pulled that thing out, man. How's it going from your perspective?
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Man, I just got a little too throttle happy. I got to him a lot quicker than I thought I was going to. We had a lot of trouble beginning that stage. Spinning in the S's, dipped the tire in the grass. Yeah, it looked like he was saving fuel, and like I said, just got to him a lot quicker than I thought we were going to. I just got a little happy on the throttle, just lit up the tires just one too many times. But man, if I was gonna lose second place, that's how I want to lose it, man. That was a hell of a fight. Hats off to Eric.
Yeah, it was an awesome battle from our perspective up here. Nolan and I talked about that, the entire thing going through, because you were given a lot more obstacles to go through than that 95 car. I think you battled all the way back from, I believe, 7th place. So that's got to feel good, though, knowing that you could actually come from so far back to so far close. So taking that momentum and this road track being behind you, what are you thinking as we got a couple short tracks coming up into the mix?
Yeah, I love the short tracks, Richmond especially. I think it's going to be real fun with this package. I know with the last car we were able to run multiple lines at Richmond, so hopefully that will translate over. Tell you what, if we can get the next road course to be run like this, I'll be looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, you guys definitely didn't disappoint. You and Eric put on quite a show tonight. So before I let you go, anybody that you want to give a shout out to from that 62 car?
Yeah, just everyone at Gas and Go, EPI Industries for the setup, Tucson Sound Art for sponsoring the series, letting us do what we do, letting us put it on. You guys, as always, you guys do a great job, Rob behind the scenes. And just again, hats off to Eric. That was a phenomenal drive.
And hats off to you too, sir, because you made this show exciting. Have a good evening, sir. Thank you very much. This is Big Al, and I'm out. Nolan, I'm going to throw this one back to you as you get ready to wrap this up with Mr. Kling.
So, Eric Kling, you join us up in the broadcast booth once again. You pull the hat trick, both stages and the race win. How does that feel to get yourself a solid win here tonight from COTA?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, practiced a lot this week, so and Chris was the one I had marked down to try to beat, for this race. So, and this was a couple weeks ago that I even told him that, and it feels good to actually be able to pull it off.
So talk to us about how those last couple of laps played out, because at the start of the race it was looking like a walk-off win, but Severa was hounding you like mad on those closing laps there.
Yeah, I was trying to save fuel there for quite a while, and it ended up allowing them to catch up to me a little bit more, and then it felt like I was losing a little bit of speed, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I had just enough where I noticed, when I noticed he was right behind me, I started pushing it, and I realized I could make it, and then, he just, once he got to me, we just went back and forth, and, I tried to put myself in a position to where if we got off the line, I could get the car at least past him in a better position where I could, keep the spot that I was in. So, it worked out really good.
So how are you going to be feeling about the next race? Obviously, it's Richmond Raceway, and it's going to be the first race in a couple of short tracks. So what do you think as we get set to enter this short track segment, it would seem, of the season?
It's definitely going to be one of my favorites. The short tracks and road courses are, the things that I look forward to the most. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Well, let's go then here, Eric. Anybody else you'd like to shout out for that T-Mobile number 95 Mustang?
G&G, they've been there. They've helped me when I've needed it, and my wife for not killing me for spending as much time as I do on this, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. The sponsors, Tucson, everything. So yep.
And thank you, Eric, for taking the time to join us here tonight. Best of luck next week in Virginia.
Thank you very much.
Well, that is going to be about all the time we're going to have for one night here then from Circuit of the Americas. My name is Manola Rempel with one Alfonso Nixon beside me in the broadcast booth. And Rob Melnick once again doing excellent work behind the cameras for tonight's race. Thank you for joining us for more racing action here from Circuit of the Americas and the iRacing Stock Car Association Tucson Sound Art Cup Series. We'll see you all next week when we slow it down and go short track racing in Richmond.